Yo, this Sesko, who this?
What's up, Red Phone fam? It's your girl Aries, and I'm back with another movie review. This is gonna be my Black History Month movie. Hopefully, I do enough of these, y'all, to just have a little playlist, of some cool movie discussions. I won't even say it's a review. Um, I am gonna go over, like the topic and the main idea of the movie, but basically what I wanted to do when it came to two distant strangers, y'all, was just give these people their flowers because they was doing a thing in this movie. Just not even just alone Joey Badass's portrayal of Carter James. It was just so much detail that I was like, dude, I have to go online and talk about this movie with my people. So Red Phone fam, make sure that y'all tapping in with your friend, liking that video on your way in. And yeah, we're about to discuss. Let me just start off by saying that I would have never watched a movie like this because I'm good on the trigger warnings, which there was none actually in this one. But I mean, I've seen this thumbnail hanging around the Netflix since 2020 when it came out, but it wasn't no way during that time that I was going to be watching something like this about, I was assuming that it was about a black guy and a cop, and it don't look good just based on that alone, so what am I going to put myself through that for? But when I saw that it was an Oscar award winning short film, I was like, man, let me go ahead and put myself through this for less than an hour, less than 30 minutes. I believe, I want to say it's 23 minutes. It might be 32. Sometimes I transpose numbers, but nonetheless, I want to just say that there are so many elements to this movie that really deserve a chef's kiss. I see why they won the Oscar. I really do. I can also see why this movie could have caused like some diversity or division, I would say. As if it's not already enough, some tension. I don't know, just some maybe from some white people that could feel like this movie um paints all white cops as racist, or just all cops in general as effed up toward people of color. But right now I'm going to focus on black people specifically, because just because you're a people of color don't mean that you necessarily mess with black people, and don't mean that you don't try to buy into whiteness your damn self. So it don't mean that you still don't look down on us in hopes of the almighty white man looking at you and pulling you up into rank, okay, pulling you up into the white man club. So in this Black History Month, y'all, it ain't no people of color month, I don't think. So let's shout out and give flowers to the people that made this movie happen. And that's all that I'm doing on this. I'm a read some reviews from some people that left reviews for it, some audience reviews, because there were some that were good, there were some that were just kind of crazy, to be honest. So let's start off with a review that really resonated with me the most. Okay, when I read this, is the one that people found most helpful overall. So yeah, let me go ahead on and pop it up on the screen and share it with you guys. There was a lot of care and thought put into this short film as a whole. As you watch this movie, you'll see many details that pop up, such as the names of George Floyd and others from a top down perspective, as well as the main character's pool of blood in the shape of the continent Africa. This movie's adaptation of Groundhog Day principle was really clever. This not only makes you understand the grounded truth about how racism works in the minds of mentally unhinged people, such as that cop, as well as people who are uneducated, ignorant about diversity. Here's a spoiler. It's not a bad thing, okay? It's not a bad thing. It's okay to have a variety in America. After all, this country is practically the poster child of diversity, considering its history. When you think about the main character's many attempts to escape from inevitable death, it came It can be seen as scenarios playing out in his head as he tries to find the most effective, logical way to avoid death without consequence, such as the cop such as killing the cop, which would result in his death or imprisonment, of course, which wouldn't help. Although that crazy mofo deserves it at least once. I agree. Now let's pause from reading this review because I definitely agree. Starting with the fact that Carter, he tried to change his appearance before he left the house and it didn't help. He tried to talk to the guy and it didn't help. So even this idea of at least shooting him once and going through the system, so to speak, and just to at least make it to another day because he's stuck right now forever being killed first by the police. And yeah, it definitely would have been nice to see Officer Mert get his just one time. So let's go back to that review. I think mental health is an important aspect that can be seen here since this is for sure a real life situation that can very well happen while doing something daily, while having this thought follow you wherever you go. That's me. And I obviously that's how a lot of black people feel like you forever have this thought following you wherever you go, not only when it comes to police, but when you go into the bank to cash a big check, maybe for example, when you, I don't know, when you just feel, when you're about to return something to the store. Okay, that's something for me. That's one of the reasons why I don't return nothing. Even if it don't fit, okay, I'm gonna put it on Poshmark because I ain't got time to be judged or made to feel like a criminal and even just be putting my life on the line trying to take something back and then what? Getting to, you know, people trying to say I stole it or something. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, sorry for getting going off on a tangent. Let's get back to the review. Having a different perspective on any and all topics is great because people need new original ideas that are unique and innovative in order to progress in this ever-changing world of ours. 10 out of 10 would recommend this to anybody because this is a lesson reality worth remembering. And I'm going to go ahead on and give a thumbs up on that because facts. Facts. Let's go and let's look at another review. Let's look at a review from a good review from somebody white that gets it maybe. Let's check this one out. Definitely a trigger warning for anyone who is triggered by police violence or racism. I talk more about this at the end. Okay, so yeah, let's scroll up. The writers seem to be hopeful to accomplish one sentiment that regardless of what Black people do and how Black people live, many police officers will always see them as a threat. Yes, the Groundhog Day time loop might seem ineffective to some, but in my opinion, this is the first time that using that time loop tactic has ever been for a real reason. Ooh, girl, you eating. Come on, Kayla Baker. I understand the point. My only complaint would be to add a resolution. Yeah, I agree. Kayla continues in this review to say, I didn't feel that the story wrapped itself up at the end. That could have been reflective of the fact that there is still so much work to be done in America. I felt that even with that metaphor, that the ending could have been clearer or written a little better. The cinematography is beautiful. And reminiscent of a Pixar animation. Both leads are very strong and have very sweet, kind, likable characters. Who the hell was sweet and kind? That being said, I strongly suggest that if there is any chance you are triggered by police violence or racism, do not watch this. The story itself makes great points, but that doesn't erase the multiple times that you see a Black man die on screen at the hands of the police. It's good, but not so good that it is worth bringing up traumatic stress. I truly agree because I was going to watch it again for a second time today, y'all, to really, just see some of them good things, not, some of the things that I really liked about it again. And I just was not able, I didn't have it to do, girl. I wasn't able to do it. Now let's read a bad review for the movie. Let me find one. Okay, first off, It says here, first, I'm an old Southern white guy. I remember blacks only and white only fountains during the 1960s. Thank God we don't see that nonsense anymore. With that said, there's still a lot of work to be done. Movies like this are not making things better. It's only creating more divisiveness, divisiveness. Okay, y'all? Stereotyping all white cops as racist is just as bad as stereotyping all blacks as criminals. This movie could have done a better job in that department. I saw stereotyping in action a couple of years ago when a black friend of mine was pulled over for an apparent no reason other than he was black. Ironically, the cop's partner was black. How the hell you know all that? What? Mr. Sir, opinionated doe, this is interesting. Okay, because how you know the cop's partner is black? Oh, partner, like officer partner. Okay, see, I'm thinking more along the lines of who he's married to or who coupled with. Okay, in a relationship with. Let's go back to it. I saw a stereotyping in action a couple of years ago when a black friend of mine was pulled over for no apparent reason other than he was black. Ironically, the cop's partner was black and I was a white passenger they couldn't see before the stop. I was far more mad than my friend, but he told me to just be quiet and follow his lead. Right, friend, you gonna mess around and get me killed and your ass arrested, so I'm gonna need you to be quiet. The cop asked as a couple, the cop asked us a couple of questions, then let us go, thanking us for our time. I really wanted to chew those guys out, but my friend told me not to comment and only answer questions when asked. After leaving, he explained that he gets pulled over like that frequently, but is always polite and open. His mindset is that being non combative and polite sends a message to the cops that blacks in general are not criminals. I agree with his approach. I'm a big fan of the TV series The Rookie. I find that this show addresses this issue very well. Okay, sir. So this is basically a guy and his one black friend that he witnessed get pulled over, and while he up here talking about how he was going to chew somebody out, yeah, baby, that's white privilege to even be able to do that. You saying that it's better for black people to just comply when you want to chew them out and make it home? That's privilege. So would it be wrong? What would you say when you're chewing them out and your ass end up as a hashtag? What then? They're going to be telling you that you should have complied and stopped chewing people out. But you feel like you're entitled to do just that. Whereas your friend had to come up with a whole damn Jedi mind trick. And it ain't even nothing that he probably had to come up on his own. But we all as black people, whether you taught or just come up with this tactic over time to learn how to operate in the presence of the police in order to make it home safe. Is really not a foreign concept. And the fact that this review has 94 thumbs up from people that agree, it just really is annoying because we got the reviewer on one hand saying that he was going to chew the police out. But I'm sure that it never crossed his mind that his life would have been on the line by doing so. So, black people, though, you saying that we shouldn't even think that we could chew this person, nobody out, no authority, no police out. And on top of that, in the movie, when was Carter ever rude or like disparaging to the officer? He definitely was polite in general, and when it came to the police, he tried to do everything he could. We already talked about it. See, you making me mad now, y'all. But we already talked about how no matter what he did and no matter how he tried to change the outcome, the officer's mind was already made up. I want to include that this movie really made it so I think that the point of it being the same officer was to say that this ain't all officers. We know that this is not the case with all police. So they made it this same officer, they made it a Groundhog's Day type of event where we were going to encounter the same people every day. because we are trying to, from the producers and the writers' perspective, I feel, demonstrate that this is not the behavior of all police. So yeah, y'all, I definitely think just for that reason alone, even if it's for the reason of bringing up the topic on how to navigate and conduct yourself amongst police to our younger Black loved ones, I think this movie is a great opportunity to do that. And what other time should we do it other than Black History Month? So yeah, let me know what you think about this movie down into the comments. Let me know if you saw it. Let me know if you would see it. Let me know if you thought that it was going to be so stressful that you haven't watched it. Because like one of the reviews said, no matter how nicely done this movie is, you're still going to end up seeing Carter lose his life scene after scene after scene. And that can be a lot. But happy Black History Month, you all. And I'll see y'all in the next one. It ain't going to be so heavy as this, because that's enough.
Yo, this Sesko, who this?